And did you know that he speaks in Hindi, Punjabi and Urdu, and his office handles cases involving divorce, family law, child custody and child support. And he has been an immigration officer. That's why he has a lot of knowledge behind the scene what goes on. So that is Mr. Adam Malik from Malik and Associates. Welcome Malik Sahab. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Navneeta. How are you?
I'm great. So are you rested after this long weekend?
It's funny that you ask. I was actually working most of the weekend.
Really? Why? Why work on a weekend which is a long weekend?
Because I have clients that I want to take care of. I want to help them out.
Your clients are really bothering you.
People's lives depend on me, Navneeta.
Oh,
I don't want to let them down.
So you don't want to rest. I understand that. And yes, Mr. Malik, today, what is it we are talking from the law world point of view? Any news that our listeners need to know?
Well, the news that our listeners need to know is that I am going to be going out of town for 1 month.
1 month?
Yes, 1 month.
Oh my God! So that's the long weekend he has.
Well, sort of, kind of, right? So I mean, I will be leaving in about a week, and I will be back in the middle of July, and then we will start our show again. But so there will be a break for a month. I will try and see if somebody can sit in for me from the office. But
it's never the same, so I think it would be awesome when you come back and resume.
But obviously we want to make sure that we are taking care of our community members at the same time. But nonetheless, I wanted to let you and our listeners know that next week I will be leaving and I'll be gone for about a month.
My first caller on air. Good evening, Panisha Radio. Your question for Mr. Malik, please.
Sure. My question is what is the fastest way to bring our partner to the United States, whether it's to get married and bring it here, or whether it's to get engaged and put it on a fiancé visa?
For some
reason, what is your status in the U.S., sir?
I had actually anticipated that question, Mr. Malik, today. Yes. What is
U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay, please listen to the answer off here. Thank you so much. All right, so I get this question a lot. First of all, I want to make sure that all of our listeners understand that fiancé visa, what that means and how that works. So first of all, fiancé visa is only available to U.S. citizens or spouses of U.S. citizens. Partners of U.S. citizens, fiancés of U.S. citizens, not spouses. I'm sorry, I misspoke. So when you get married, a lot of people say, you know what, we're going to get married in the other country and we're just not going to tell the government and we'll do a fiancé visa. Well, that is illegal, and I definitely tell you not to do that because when you get married and it gets registered, embassies sometimes go and verify the names of the fiancés in the local marriage license registrar's office to see if they're married. So if your name pops up, that could be a fraudulent case against you that the government can file, and that could create a lot of problems for you in the future. So fiancé visas are only available for people who are not married. The purpose of a fiancé visa is to bring the person here because you want the marriage to take place in the United States. But now, because it is easier sometimes to file a fiancé visa because it doesn't have a lot of requirements. At the same time, it is difficult because the government puts your case under a microscope and there's so much scrutiny that goes with it. So my recommendation to people is that, if you're going to get married anyways, start off with a marriage visa, a spousal visa, as opposed to a fiancé visa, because it will bring less scrutiny on your case, because the chance is always there that if you're not married, the person's going to come to the U.S. and not marry you. Or there's people out there who file fiancé visas and just to, bring somebody here, and then they never get married. So that's why the scrutiny is there, because the government's interest is involved. more than a spousal visa. Now, as coming down to the time, fiancé visas were working a little faster than the spousal visas. However, lately we're seeing post-COVID that they're taking about the same amount of time, give or take a few months here and there. So there's a lot to consider as opposed to just time, because if you file a fiancé visa, it comes a little faster than the spousal visa, but there's more scrutiny and your case gets rejected, then you are going to go and get married and start all over again in the back of the line, and there could be other issues that come with it. So for those reasons, I recommend always spousal visa, even though it might be a little longer than the fiancé visa. I hope that answers your question. I wish you all the best.
Good evening, Financial Radio. You are live on air. Your question for Mr. Malik, please.
Okay, so I am on L1A visa, and I'm about to repatriate because my EB2 is filed. I got my international manager experience here. I don't have any, I don't have any international manager experience like outside US. So in that case, if my I-140 is received before I exit the country, will I still be able to, continue here, or will I have to leave and then do a cooling period of 1 year and come in new visa and then, apply my either, EB2 like EB1 or continue with the same I-140 as EB2?
First of all, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by you don't have any international manager experience, because you're on L1A. You should be having managerial or executive experience, because that's the whole purpose of having an L1A visa. Now, if you're going back to your country, I completely understand that. But understand that for India, the I-140 priority date is not too far out on an EB1. Now, if you're doing EB2, then that could be. Let me look at the priority dates real quick. That also is not so bad either, because EB2 is also December 22 right now. So it's barely 6 months of waiting for that. Now, I mean, I understand if you want to go outside and this can get processed even through consular processing. Unlike I-140, you're not able to file the unlike H-1B, you're not able to file an I-140 and keep renewing your visa. On L-1A, there's a limit, and you cannot go beyond that. So I wish you all the best with that, and I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much for that. Good evening, Financial Radio.
So my question is just I filed for my parents for the green card, and just it is the 4 weeks, but they are not taking out the money and like a receipt. They did not sending the receipt, and they did not take it out the money. It is already 4 weeks. So what condition they are not take it out the money, and so that is the question.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Please listen to the answer off air. So the first thing that I would do is that when you sent in the package, I hope you did a tracking service through the post office, so you can definitely go online and track and see if your package was delivered. If your package was in fact delivered, then you could be rest assured that you will be getting the receipt notice a little later. Sometimes they are delayed. 4 weeks, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Now, if it gets to an 8-week point and you still haven't received the receipt notices, then I will worry. I mean, if you're one of those people who are just extremely nervous, you can definitely call the 800 number and file a ticket, a service ticket, and let them know that, hey, you filed, it was received by the USCIS, and you've got the tracking number, and to see what's going on. Now, also make sure that you send it to the right address. Address is important. You make sure that it was delivered at the right place, and it was trackable, so you would know that it is tracked. Hopefully this will happen all very quickly. There's sometimes delays in receiving notices or government processing those receipts or even opening the packages and processing them, I wouldn't worry about that just yet. I understand 4 weeks sometimes is a long time, but it's the government we're talking about. Government is slow. That's what we pay them for, just to be slow. Thank you.
Okay, I like it that you said it slowly as well. Good evening, Financial Radio. You are live on air. Your question for Mr. Malik, please.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I am currently on H-1B and I was born in Saudi. So I was just looking to know if I could file my I-140 and I-485 at the same time.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat your question? I didn't quite understand it, sir.
So like I was born in Saudi Arabia and
yeah, I understand that.
the dates are So I was looking to see if I can file my I-140 and I-485 at the same time.
Under what category, sir? What category are you thinking? EB2, EB3? What are you talking about?
EB2.
Okay. So EB2, if you're born in Saudi Arabia, you would fall under the all other chargeability section, and if under EB2 they're working on December of 2022, so you're about 6 months delayed. So you'll file the I-140 first, and wait until your visa becomes current, and then you'll file it. There's a 6-month delay, so it's not current. So that's why you cannot file it concurrently, but you can file after 6 months if that's the pattern that remains in 6 months. I mean, in 6 months it could change. It could be current, or it could be delayed even further, so it will depend. But no, you cannot file it concurrently. You have to wait. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have just a minute left before we get into the break. I have a caller. I can take the question and we can answer after the break.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call. I want small information. I recently got into some incident where I got ticketed by the traffic police for some reckless driving, and there was a penalty of some $70. Now I'm about to file my citizenship. Will that be an item which I need to declare, or will it be an issue for me?
So let me quickly answer the gentleman. So he got a ticket for reckless driving, and his concern was that he has to pay a fine, but his concern was if that is going to affect his citizenship. Now, if it was just a fine and you were not arrested, and you pay the ticket before you apply for citizenship, and obviously then it will be paid before you go to the interview. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a minor traffic ticket. But it has to be paid. If it's not paid, then you can put it on there, and then you can take the receipt of it that you've already paid it later. But again, if you don't pay it and that turns into FTA, which is failure to appear, and then you get arrested because of that, then that would be something that would cause you a problem for citizenship. So make sure that you pay your tickets anytime you get them, whether you take a defensive driving course or whatever you have to do to satisfy the court in that manner in regards to that violation. That's what you have to do. Traffic tickets, minor moving violations, those are all considered Class C misdemeanors, and those usually don't create a problem, because usually a Class C misdemeanor is something that has no jail time, and it only entails a fine under $500 usually. So go ahead and pay your ticket, and you should be fine. I wish you all the best.
Wish you all the best. Good evening, Find Your Radio. You are live on air. Your question for Mr. Malik, please.
Hi, Mr. Malik and Navita. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you so much.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था सर, मेरे हम 5 फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं. हमने ट्रैवल डॉक्यूमेंट के लिए, रिफ्यूजी ट्रैवल डॉक्यूमेंट के लिए अप्लाई किया था. हमारे 4 केस में से अप्रूव होके आ गए हैं, मिल गए हमको, लेकिन एक मेरे बच्चे का जो है वो अभी तक जो स्टेटस दिखा रहा है वो नहीं दिखा रहा है अप्रूव. हमें जैसे फिंगरप्रिंट का जो लास्ट स्टेटस था वही दिखा रहा है. तो इस देर एनी वे कि मैं किसी को कहीं कॉल करके कुछ पूछ सकते हैं इसके बारे में, या कोई आप 800 नंबर्स का मूवमेंट बताते हैं, लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता कि कौन सा वाला 800 नंबर है, या कोई भी जो आप सजेस्ट करें कि क्या करना चाहिए, या फिर क्या वेट ही करें बैठ के, क्योंकि अभी 2 महीना हो गया हम सबके आए हुए हैं, उसका नहीं आया हुआ है एक बेटे का मेरे.
Okay. Please listen to the answer of fair.
Thank you.
All right, so I completely understand that you have a child whose travel document or refugee travel document is not issued. yet everybody else's travel document in your family has been issued. So the number that you can dial, and I'm going to tell you this, and you can find this on Google as well. It is 1-800-375-5283. 1-800-375-5283. That is for USCIS. You can call them and start a service ticket. Now, again, if that doesn't resolve it, there's other things that we as attorneys can do that you may not be able to or you may not have access to. But again, I'm trying to help you save some money where you don't have to hire a lawyer to do it. Hopefully this is something that gets resolved quickly. So call the 800 number, explain it to them, and basically start a service ticket. And if they're able to resolve it quickly, wonderful. If not, then you're more than welcome to come to our office. I hate that you would have to pay a fee for something small like this, but unfortunately, if a lawyer gets involved, they have to charge you for your time, their time. So that, as we all know, lawyers' time is very expensive, and it can get very expensive very quickly, even if it's a small issue like this. So to avoid that, call the 800 number and see if they can help you. I wish you all the best.
All the best. Good evening, Fanisha Radio. You are live on air. Your question for Mr. Malik, please.
Hey, hi, hello. I just applied for my parents in February 2020, and the last update I just heard from the NVC in February 23. So just like 3 months before, and in the email said they send my case to Bombay Embassy for interview. So I want to know how long the Bombay Embassy take a time for interview call.
So this probably will be our last call, Navneeta. Let me answer this question for this gentleman. Sir, unfortunately, post-COVID, embassies are very, very slow in responding to interviews and other things. As you know, a lot of people know, even non-immigrant visitor visa interviews have been backed up, and there's a long, long wait, sometimes in some countries up to 2 years. Now, again, I don't know the specific caseload of the Bombay consulate, but I do know that they're backed up. Sometimes there's a year and a half wait. Hopefully that's not the case in your case. Unfortunately, I do not have specific times or of the backlog for each consulate because there's so many around the world, and that's not something that I keep up with. But definitely, I'm sure there's some blogs out there that you can go and research and find out that people who've recently been interviewed, how long did they have to wait. That's the best advice that I can give you to find out. I personally, unfortunately, don't have that information. Sometimes the consulates do post or publish this information on their website to let people know how backed up they are. You might want to look at their consulate's website as well to see if such information does exist for the Bombay consulate. But however, I've seen anywhere from 2 up to 3 years of waiting time to get an interview sometimes. Again, I hope that that's not the case for you and your parents, but I have seen that, and the consulates are backed up. So with that, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much to our community for supporting us, and it's always wonderful to be here to serve the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful wherever you are going, and we'll wait for you.